So if there's one thing that this newly launched dash camera has done, other than of course having unprecedented, never seen before features in any dash cam till date, is that it has impressed me in every single way. I'm talking about the brand new VIOFO A329, the successor to the VIOFO A229 series. And this dash camera has what it takes to blow every other dash camera simply out of the competition. This is the world's first dash cam which supports 4K 60 FPS recording. No other camera has been able to record beyond the standard 30 frames per second. And this is the only camera in the world currently which supports Wi-Fi 6 transfer speeds. And this probably is the only camera which has support for external SSDs, portable SSDs and USB 3.0 flash drives. This camera also supports HDMI 4K video output. So basically you can connect this dash camera using a HDMI cable to any display. It might be your TV, your monitor or even your car display, and play out uncompressed raw 4K videos straight up on whichever display you want. Now what should I call this? Impressive, beyond impressive, extremely impressive. These are the kind of top-notch quality features which I expect in a dash camera, and the VIOFO A329 does not disappoint on that front. That being said, this camera has a super long list of very unique and impressive features which I'm going to tell you about in this video. So go ahead, grab your seats, get some popcorn, sit down and watch this entire video and prepare to be truly amazed. So before you watch the rest of this video, make sure you are subscribed to my channel, make sure you like this video, because this video took a tremendous amount of effort to bring in front of you. I hope you recognize that and support my work. You're watching Travel Tech, let's get started. So this dashcam, the VIOFO A329, comes in two different variants, the front only variant and the dual channel variant. So if you are interested in checking out the price before you check out the features, go ahead, click down on the description. You'll find the link there, click on it and check out its current price. But talking about the features, here's a quick glimpse, here's a quick overview of all the amazing features the VIOFO A329 camera brings along with it. Starting with the fact that the front camera supports 4K native 4K resolution with 60 frames per second support in a non-HDR mode, and the rear camera supports 2K quad HD resolution at 30 frames per second. This camera has a quad-core ARM Cortex A53 chipset to handle all of this heavy processing. The front camera has the Sony's current flagship StarVis 2 IMX678 1/1.8-inch 8 megapixel sensor, wherein the rear camera gets the StarVis 2 IMX675 1/2.8-inch 5 megapixel sensor. Both front and the rear cameras support HDR, which helps in balancing extremely bright and dark areas within the video. So this is the first dashcam to support Wi-Fi 6 technology. Basically means it has speeds close to 30 Mbps, which means a 4K video of 1 minute will get downloaded to your smartphone in about less than 10 seconds. And not only that, this dashcam is the first one to get external SSD support, and not just 1 TB, not just 2 TB. It can support SSDs up to 4 terabytes, that's 4 TB of storage for your dash camera. This means you can travel the longest of the distances without any concern regarding the oldest files being overwritten. Also, one big advantage of connecting an SSD to your dashcam is that in emergency situations you can immediately detach the SSD and just take it away. I mean, if somebody is looking for a dashcam in your car, he won't find anything because all the videos will be recorded in the SSD and you can just plug it out within a matter of seconds. All the other person will be left with is an empty dash camera. Not only does this camera support an SSD, it also supports transferring files from your microSD card to your SSD, creating lesser load on the microSD card. Along with the fact that this has got multiple external storage options such as SSDs, PSSDs, that's portable SSDs, and USB 3.0 flash drives. Do note that the regular SSDs will require a M.2 NVMe enclosure to be used. Of course, PSSDs like the Samsung T7 or the SanDisk Extreme, you can just plug and play those directly within the dash camera. One more super unique feature about this camera, which is pretty much common in the VIOFO cameras, is the rear camera gets a super slim coaxial cable which is only about 2.8 mm in its diameter. Usually most dash cams get a super wide or pretty thick rear camera cable, but this one gets a super slim cable, makes it easy to install, makes it easy to push inside the beading. And one more advantage of having a coaxial cable is that it produces very less interference, very less disturbance to any other electronic devices in your car. Even the connectors of this coaxial cable are simple and easy to use. You can just plug in and it's basically done. And as said previously, this dash camera supports HDMI output, 4K output to your smart TV, to even your car display if it has a HDMI port, and even your PC monitor or basically any screen which you want to project to. If it has a HDMI connection, you can basically connect the dash cam and project the video straight away. Do note that for this projection, you will need a dedicated micro HDMI to a HDMI cable, which is not provided in the box. You'll need to purchase it separately. If you want to purchase it, I'll give you a link in the description. It will probably come at a price of about 300 to 400 rupees, not beyond that. This dash camera also gets a USB 3.0 Type-C port to support the fastest downloads to your phone. So based on the current tested speeds, an iPhone 15 Pro Max supports download speeds up to 55 Mbps when connected directly to the dash camera. That's super quick, super fast and super efficient way to transfer videos from the dash cam to your smartphone. And not only does this USB 3.0 support data transfer, it also supports firmware updates. So very quick, very efficient, and the fastest way to update your dash cam is through the USB 3.0 cable when it's connected with the smartphone. Now again, do note that this will require a dedicated USB 3.0 speeds compatible data cable and not just any data cable. This dash cam also gets a long list of voice commands and also gets voice notifications. I personally prefer voice notifications a lot because it gets very easy to monitor the status of the dash cam without you having to try to take a look at the dash camera itself. All important notifications will be given out by voice, and of course you can even individually control the volume of the notifications, and even you can turn it off based on your convenience. Another super powerful and unique feature of this camera is that it gets quad GPS, basically GPS, GLONASS, Beidou and Galileo. All four ways of catching a GPS signal is employed within this dash cam. And you might wonder, why need four of those? I mean, you can practically have just a GPS signal and be happy with it. Well, having a quad GPS helps, especially in urban areas, especially in areas where there are very tall buildings around, tall trees, wherein only having a single GPS connection will give you a very weak link and the dash cam will probably not get an accurate location. But having a quad GPS helps the camera to regain its 3D position based on all these four parameters and give you the most accurate location even when you're surrounded by the most tallest of the buildings. And those of you who are wondering if this camera has got so many features, what about parking monitoring? Well, this camera gets one of the most advanced parking modes ever seen on a dash cam, period. I mean, this camera gets 24-hour parking protection with three important modes: the time-lapse recording mode, auto event detection mode, and a low bitrate recording. Do note that in order to enable parking monitoring, you will need to purchase a hardware kit separately, and it's not available within the box. And of course, if you're interested in purchasing it, the link to purchase it will be given in the description below. So this camera gets all of these super awesome, amazing features, and I'm still not finished. This camera gets additional accessories starting with an all new charger, and trust me, I'm very happy to take a look at this charger because no other brand, no other dash cam has provided the kind of charger VIOFO has given in its box. The all new charger from VIOFO has dual Type-C ports, it supports fast charging, it has got a ring LED light, and of course since this gets a dual Type-C, you can even fast charge your smartphone along with using the dash camera. The build quality of the car charger is also super impressive, and trust me, once you get your hand on this, you're gonna love it as well. And not only does VIOFO provide this all new charger in the box, it also provides a CPL filter right within the box. Yes, you don't have to purchase a CPL filter separately. The CPL filter for the front camera comes within the box. You can install it straight away along with the dash camera. The good thing being, as an optional additional accessory, you can purchase a CPL for the rear camera as well. I've shown the rear camera CPL in this video. You can just take a look at it later on in the video. The rear camera CPL is an optional purchase. You can buy it and fit it on the rear camera as well. I would surely recommend it. Along with rear camera CPL, there is an additional optional accessory which is the Bluetooth remote. So this Bluetooth remote is a very useful feature if you're someone who is very interested or keen on using it. It gets 3 buttons, that's the video lock button, mic button and the action button, wherein the mic button and the action button are customizable. So you can customize to whatever specific function you need from the camera, and you can mount the Bluetooth remote control at an accessible place so that you don't have to stretch out your hand in order to access any particular function on the dash cam. So I'm so tired right now. I mean, this is the first time I'm reading out such a long list of features for any dash camera in any of the videos which I've made till now. And that's quite a good thing for the customers, for the consumers who are looking to buy super fine, super premium dash cameras. So that being said, this was the quick overview and a quick look of all the super amazing features the VIOFO A329 will bring to you if you purchase it. So now let's start up with a detailed review, starting with the unboxing, then showing you all the on-screen settings, which are quite interesting. I must say, I need you to take a look at all those settings on the screen. You'll probably get blown away looking at those features. And following that, I'll bring you a detailed video quality review, the number plate readability, and all the special features this dash camera projects on its videos, starting with the 30 fps, 60 fps difference, the HDR on and off, the kind of quality difference. And another important feature, that is this camera provides you a cinematic 21:9 ultra wide video recording. I mean, you have to see to believe it how beautiful that looks. So let's start off with the detailed review. I hope you've enjoyed the video till now, and I hope you'll watch the rest of the video as well. Let's take a look. So here's the VIOFO A329 2-channel 4K and Quad HD Wi-Fi dash camera. So on top you find the VIOFO logo, the model name, and it also says pioneer in dashcam imaging since 2010. So on top of the box they have provided some features, and they have highlighted the most important aspect, that this supports a 4K 60 fps. It has a StarVis 2 sensor, supports the latest Wi-Fi 6 connection, and most importantly supports SSD storage. So on the side of the box, there's only the model name, and along with that the QR code to download the app from both Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. At the back they've again highlighted some features, and it says 4K 60 fps and 30 fps supported on the front camera, along with 2K 30 fps on the rear camera. That's dual channel recording. Then it has a Sony StarVis 2 IMX678 on the front and the IMX675 for the rear sensor. Then it has 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz dual Wi-Fi support, supports smart voice control, voice notification in multiple languages, supports advanced parking mode, supports video out, and of course it supports micro SD cards, and first in industry, first in dashcam segment, supports external SSD storage. Terrific features, amazing camera. Let's quickly do the unboxing and take a look at what the A329 really feels and looks like. So here is the main box pack. So as soon as you do open up the lid, you find the main dash camera unit. Let's quickly take it out. So this is the VIOFO A329. Pretty much resembles the A229 series, except maybe for this ventilation holes, which look to be very much different than the A229 model. On the back you've got this screen, you've got the similar range of buttons which we saw in the A229 series. The distinctive branding of the model name A329 is given here. There are ventilation holes on the other side as well to keep the camera cool. So starting off, this is the main windshield mount. So I think this is detachable. Let's just check that. So the windshield mount is detachable. It has got this 4-pin connectors, and probably this also serves as the GPS module. So you can easily detach the camera as and when required. You just need to slide out the windshield mount, and there it is. It's done. Following that, you have the lens module, goes up and down with a distinctive clicking sound. Following that, you have this Type-C USB slot right here. You have this reset slot, and on this side you get a rear camera coaxial slot, micro SD card slot, and a HD out slot. So you can use this to connect to your smart TV and directly stream the recorded videos on the smart TV. So using this Type-C slot, you can connect the external SSD or a flash drive. Let's keep the main camera here and take a look at the rear camera. Alright, So this is the rear camera having a StarVis 2 IMX675 sensor. It's got this LED notification which covers both the side of the rear camera, the back panel of the camera as well, and that's a good thing because you can easily recognize if the rear camera is working or not just by taking a look at the rear view mirror, because this LED light will be glowing up there, and even you can watch it from the side. So we've got this main windshield mount with this 3M sticker, and the camera is 360-degree rotatable as you're seeing right now. Along with that, you also got this AV out point, so you need to connect your coaxial cable right here. No specific VIOFO branding anywhere, but the rear camera does look pretty sturdy, well built. Compared to most other rear cameras, this does seem to be very neat. Following that, you get a A329 user manual giving you all the details of the camera, the technical specifications, its working and everything. So if you are interested in taking a look at all of these features, you can take a deep look into this user guide and understand all the working of this dash camera. Following this, you have this small pouch, and from within this pouch there are certain things which you might want to take a look at. So first of all, you have these additional 3M stickers, one for the front camera, one for the rear camera. So one additional pair of stickers, that's a good thing. Following that, you have 3 electrostatic stickers. You can use them however you want to. Then you have the professional customer service card from VIOFO giving you all the details regarding their website, email, contact number, and even the live chat. They've also provided some info regarding the warranty policy, the product registration, and even something regarding the video sharing. Then there's a read before installation card, and behind this they've given some important instructions. You can pause the video and take a look at this. So these instructions are pretty much important, and I recommend you read this before you install the camera. Following this, you have a sticker. You can stick this on the windshield of your car. It says protected by VIOFO dashcam. So moving further down into the camera box, there's another small packet, and within this you get a Type-C to Type-C data cable. So you can plug in one end of the Type-C port into the dashcam and another end into your smartphone and directly view or transfer the video files from the camera. Following this, you have the rear camera coaxial cable, a very slim, a very thin cable. Usually what we see in most dash cameras is that the rear camera cable will be pretty thick and large, and it will be difficult to fit it inside the beading of the car. But the coaxial cable provided by VIOFO is pretty thin. The attachment is super smooth and easy, and it is interference free. So that's also a super cool thing. Following that, you get a CPL filter right in the box for the front camera. So as you can see, this is the front camera CPL filter, and you get it within the box. You don't need to purchase it separately. The rear camera CPL filter, though, if you do need it, you will have to purchase it as a separate accessory. So you have this wiring tool. This will help you in the installation of the dash camera for plugging in its wire. Then comes the last items in the box. A 12-volt car charger with dual Type-C ports. Now I've never seen such a refined car charger in any dash camera box. This has got dual Type-C ports, 46 watt support, and they've specified that the blue color Type-C is for dash cam, and your another Type-C you can use it for mobile charging. And I think it does have a ring LED light as well. So a very pretty unique and well designed car charger from VIOFO. I must really appreciate VIOFO for providing such customer oriented products. And then lastly, in the box you have the main power cable with 2 Type-C ports, one with a straight connector, the other end with a L-shaped connector. So this is the main power cable. You need to plug it in within this Type-C port of the car charger provided, and the other end plugs in within the main camera unit. Alright, so these are all the things which you get inside the box: the professional customer service card, the rear camera unit, one pair of additional stickers, your wiring tool, your CPL filter, a very refined, a very well polished Type-C port car charger. Then you have the user manual, the main VIOFO A329 front camera. Then you have 3 electrostatic stickers, rear camera coaxial cable. You have a VIOFO dashcam protected sticker for your windshield. Then you have the data transfer USB Type-C to Type-C cable. Then you have the read before installation card, and finally the main USB power cable with one straight Type-C connector and the other end with a L-shaped Type-C connector. So to start off the installation of the camera, peel off the windshield mount sticker and along with that the lens covering as well. So you get a front camera CPL filter inside the box, take it out, peel off the sticker from the CPL lens and locate the marking and align it with the camera with the markings similarly found on the camera lens as well. So align the markings, press the CPL filter on the lens and basically you're done. The CPL filter is now installed on the front camera unit. Then do go ahead and clean out the CPL filter for any dust or dirt or any watermarks and then also peel off the sticker from the dash camera screen. Clean the area where you intend to install the dash camera, locate the proper position and just press the dash cam onto the desired place so that it adheres to its proper location. Take a compatible memory card and insert it into the microSD card slot of the dash camera. Now take the rear camera, peel off the stickers from the lens module and even the windshield mount of the rear camera. Take the rear camera CPL filter, so this is available as a separate accessory and not available within the box. You can purchase this separately, you will find the link in the description below. So take out the rear CPL out of the box and then peel off the stickers that are covering the rear CPL as well. There are two stickers, one on the front and one on the back. Peel off both of them and just place it on the rear camera. You don't have to align it anywhere like you did in the front. It's pre-aligned and you can just place it and stick it right there. Then take the rear camera and stick it onto the desired area on the rear windshield. Take the rear coaxial cable and insert it into the rear camera. The attachment is pretty easy, just press it inside and it takes hold of it. Take the other end of the rear coaxial cable and insert it into the front camera's rear socket. Then insert the main Type-C power cable into the front camera unit. The Type-C port is right on top of the camera. Now take the car charger, the pre-provided car charger in the VIOFO box and plug it into the 12-volt socket of your car. And once you turn on the car, there will be a blue LED ring that will be glowing on the car charger. I've never seen such feature in any pre-provided car chargers. Plug in the wire and the dash cam should start up pretty much immediately with the VIOFO logo coming in on the front, and then you'll have some pre-setting to do, some pre-adjustments like setting the language. Then you have to go about in setting the time zone. So in India it's currently GMT 5:30. You can also set the speed units to kilometers per hour or miles per hour, and then the format SD card, you basically the micro SD card will get formatted and the dash camera will start recording immediately. Alright guys, so before you actually connect an SSD to the dash cam, you'll need something called as a data cable. So as you're seeing right now, it says 1.8 meter SSD Type-C data cable for A329. So this is a dedicated data cable built for the dash camera and this is available for purchase as a separate accessory. You don't get this inside the box, you'll need to purchase this separately if you don't already have a data cable. But if you already have a Type-C to Type-C data cable, you shouldn't be getting this. So this is the data cable. Both ends you get a L-shaped connector and you get to connect this to the dash cam and to the SSD for the super awesome external SSD storage. So here I have my Samsung SSD. This is the Samsung T7 Shield SSD. So this is compatible with the VIOFO A329. So here's the Type-C port of the T7 Shield. Let's connect one end of the data cable here. Let's connect the other end to the dash cam. So here's the Type-C port of the dash camera. So plugging in the SSD connection. So as soon as you connect the SSD, you get this notification on the screen. It says save the videos to external SSD. You can either select no or you can select yes and then click on the OK button. So as soon as you click on the OK, now the SSD is actively connected to the dash cam and the video storage is currently happening directly on the SSD. There's no memory card involved. So one thing which you should also note guys is that this SSD cable or the data cable is kind of quite thick, as you can see on the screen right now. So you need to hide this properly within the beading of the car, and since this is 1.8 meters, it will probably go up all the way through the beading and even come down towards the dashboard from the bottom. So you need to make sure that you conceal this wire properly. So this will be an added extra work if you are connecting an SSD to the dash camera. So here is the A329 currently mounted in my car, and in order to enter the settings, you need to first stop the recording. So click on the recording button, it will stop the recording, then enter the settings menu. So straight up when you enter the settings menu, you've got three options: video settings, system settings and file lists. It's pretty easy to scroll through these three options. So having three simple options makes it easier to understand and use the settings. First of all, let's head into the video settings. Let me just try and zoom in a bit more. So in order to head into any specific setting, you need to press the center button. So once we enter that, so the first option is the resolution, and if we head into this, you get 4K at 30 frames per second and 2K at 30 frames per second. Along with that, 4K 30 in 21:9 aspect ratio, that's cinematic wide, and 2K at 21:9 aspect ratio for the rear camera as well. So this is not your regular 16:9 aspect ratio, but 21:9, that's cinematic video. I'll just show you how that feels and looks like. Following this, you also have the option to reduce the resolution to 2K for the front and 2K for the rear as well. Then you have the video bitrate option. You can set it at low, normal, high and maximum for the most amount of data and the details. Heading back, you have the loop recording option. If you head into this, you have a minimum loop recording of 1 minute to a maximum of 10 minutes. So you can have a file size of 10 long minutes for a single recorded video file. Following this, you have the record audio option, basically the mic option. So you can turn off or turn on the mic as well. Then after record audio, you have the exposure value. You can individually set the exposure value for the front camera and the rear camera. If you head into the front camera, it is by default set at 0. So you can decrease or increase the exposure value based on your requirement. I would recommend keeping it at 0. Even you can do the same for the rear camera as well. Following this, you have the HDR option. So again, individually you get two options for the front and the rear camera. You can individually turn on or turn off the HDR for the front or the rear camera, or you can also set it at automatic. So currently I have set it at on for the highest video quality. But here's the thing, if you turn off the HDR, so as you can see, I have moved the option to off, and if I do click it off, you do get to see some change in terms of the video resolution. Now previously when I clicked on resolution, there was only 4K 30 FPS and 2K 30 FPS for the front and the rear. But now after I turn off the HDR, heading into resolution, you get a few new options. You get 4K 60 FPS for the front, 2K 30 FPS. Then you get 4K 60 FPS in 21:9 aspect ratio and 2K at 21:9 aspect ratio. Then you get 4K 30 FPS and 2K 30 FPS for the rear. Then again you have 4K 30 FPS at 21:9 aspect ratio and 2K at 21:9 aspect ratio. You can drop down to 2K at 60 FPS for the front and 30 FPS for the rear, or 2K at 30 FPS for the front and 30 FPS for the rear. So when you turn off the HDR, you get a lot of resolution options basically you can play around with, and specifically talking about 60 FPS option, you get it, and you can also record in 21:9 aspect ratio. Now I've never seen any dashcam record in a 21:9 cinematic aspect ratio. So this is only when you turn off the HDR. So following that, let's move on to the next option. So we just saw the HDR, then you have the G sensor option. You can set it at off, low, medium or high sensitivity. Then you have the date and time stamp. So individually you can turn off or turn on the date stamp, the GPS speed stamp, the GPS coordinate stamp, and you can even set a custom stamp. Then you have the license plate stamp, logo stamp, brand model stamp and HDR stamp. So all these options are currently enabled. You can disable them so they will stop showing up on the recorded video. Then you have the time-lapse recording. So this time-lapse recording basically records all videos in a time-lapse mode, the regular normal recording videos as well. You can set it at 1 FPS and you can take it all the way up to 10 FPS. So do note that this is not for parking mode, this is for regular recording, and you can set the camera to record in a time-lapse mode even for normal recording. Heading back, you have the parking recording options. So within parking recording, you even get parking mode, and within this you have an option to turn off the parking mode. You have the time-lapse at 1 FPS, then 2 FPS, 3 FPS, 5 and 10 FPS. You got low bitrate recording and auto event detection. So these two are very advanced options, and we'll talk a bit about these later down in the video. So you get all of these options within the parking mode settings. So currently, let me just go ahead and set it at 1 FPS. Then you have parking recording timer. So you can set for how long you want the camera to record the parking video. You can set it to a maximum of about 48 hours or a minimum of about 30 minutes, and of course you can turn it off completely. Heading back, you get enter parking mode timer, so you can set the time delay after which the camera should enter the recording, or should I say the parking mode. You can set it off, which means basically the camera will enter parking mode pretty much immediately, or you can set it at 90 seconds, which means after you turn off the car, the camera will enter parking mode after 90 seconds. Then you have the parking G sensor option. You can set it at low, medium or high. Then you have the parking motion detection. You can set it at low, medium or high. Then you have the parking GPS, which again you can set it at off or on. So even in parking mode, the GPS coordinates will be recorded. And you have parking HDR, which you can turn off or turn on. Then you have the image rotate and mirror. So you can rotate the rear image or mirror the rear camera image as per your convenience. Then you have the custom text stamp. You can basically type in any text to show up on the video. Then you have the license plate number. You can set the car's license plate number to be shown up on the video. Then you have the live video source, wherein you can set which video source is being shown on the screen, the front or the rear overlaid or the front overlaid. Then you have the privacy mode. You can turn it off or turn it on. So these are all the options within the video settings. Now we still have system settings to go through. Let's head into the system settings. Now within the system settings, you have the Wi-Fi option, and if you head into that, you can set it at off, or you can set it at 2.4 GHz for maximum compatibility and 5 GHz for the fastest network. Following that, you have the Bluetooth button function. The Bluetooth button function is an additional accessory, so probably you'll need to purchase it separately. Then you have the time zone option. You can set it as per your geographical location. Then you have the time format, 24-hour, 12 hours format. Then you have daylight saving times. So if you are a user of this camera in the United States, you need to set the daylight saving time. Then you have the date and time option, where you can manually set the date and time. Then you have the boot delay. You can turn it off. You can set the camera to turn on after 5 seconds, or you can set the camera to turn on after 10 seconds of turning on the car. So this is to ensure that the dash cam doesn't create a load on the battery as soon as the car starts. Heading back, you have the LED option. You can set all the LEDs to turn off, you can set all the LEDs to turn on, or you can set only the power LED to turn on. Then you have the parking mode LED. So in parking mode, if you want all of them to turn on, you can set it at on, or you can turn it off, or only the power LED to turn on. Then you have the manage SSD storage. So if you have connected external SSD, it's going to show up here, and currently, since I've inserted a micro SD card, it says backup micro SD card files, and it also says delete external SSD files. Following this, you have the video storage, micro SSD or external SSD. You can choose the default storage. So currently I've only inserted the micro SD card. It's selected to micro SD. If I connect an external SSD, you can go ahead and select that. Then you have the beep sound option. You can select it at all, off, only ketone, or only boot. So let me just keep it like that for now. Then you have the voice notification option. You can set it off or on as per your requirement. Then you have the voice notification volume at low, medium or high. Then you have the voice control options. So these options you can set it at off or on based on your requirement. Then you have the voice commands. So all these are the voice commands which you can use to control the dash camera. There are about 8 to 10 voice commands. You can take a look at them on the screen right now. You can use these specific commands to control the dash cam. Then you have the GPS option. You can set it at off or on. Then you have the speed unit at kilometers per hour or miles per hour. Then you have the screensaver option. So basically you can set the screen to turn off after 3 seconds or after 15 seconds, or you can set the screen to stay on for a maximum of 3 minutes, after which it will enter screensaver mode. Then you have video out OSD. It's currently set at on. So basically you can connect a HDMI cable and stream the video directly from the dash cam to your 4K TV. Then you have the frequency at 50 or 60 Hz. Then you have the language option. Plenty of options right here. So if you are in some other geographical location and you need a compatible language, this would be useful. Then you have the format memory card option. Then you have the format reminder option. You can set it at 15 days or a maximum of 60 days, or you can set it off completely. Then you have the default settings, that is a factory reset. Then you have the version number, currently showing the model name and the version number of the camera. So these were the system settings, and following this we have the file lists. So if I enter the file list, you have the video option or the photo option. If you head into the video, you can take a look at all the recorded videos right here. So if I just play a video, so as you're seeing right now, you can easily stream any video directly on the dash cam screen without even having to transfer it to your smartphone or your PC or laptop. Whenever required, you can immediately take a look at the recorded videos right on the dash camera screen. Heading back, so there is a photo option. So if the camera has taken any emergency photos, it's going to show up on the screen in the album section. So these were all the settings for the VIOFO A329 dual channel camera, and these are some of the finest and one of the most advanced settings which I've seen in any camera. And for the price this dash camera comes at, these settings kind of justify the higher price tag the camera comes with. So before I talk about the number plate readability or even the video quality of this camera, you need to take a look at this. So in this instance, as you can see, I have pointed out two arrows. There is a Maruti Omni right in front of my car, and at the front of the Omni there is a two-wheeler guy which I have marked my arrow on. So do note that there was a possible incident, there was a possible accident that might have happened. And what just happened? Just take a look at this. As the Maruti Omni moved forward, the two-wheeler person came in the wrong way and probably just missed hitting the Maruti Omni, and he was going to pass away when the car driver called him back to scold him, and this is where the argument started. So as you're seeing right now, this is a proper road rage case and both of them are arguing with each other, and in these kind of situations it can get very tense and things can take a very bad turn. So do imagine what would have happened if you were in the place of the Maruti Omni driver and if you had this camera to keep yourself safe. That being said, let's move on to take a look at the number plate readability of the VIOFO A329 during daytime conditions. So as you're seeing right now, there is a Maruti Swift Desire possibly at a distance of 45 to 50 feet away. That's a long distance. And what do you think? Will this camera be able to catch the number plate at such high distance? Let's zoom in and take a look. This is extremely good. I mean, as you're seeing right now, each letter and number is pretty much clearly visible. Although you can see some level of blurriness, some level of modification of the image due to the zoomed in factor at such a high distance, but each letter and number is pretty much clearly visible. You can read it at KA18P0451, and that's pretty much it. At such a high distance of close to 50 feet away, you can read number plates, and that's one of the best and the most amazing things the VIOFO A329 can bring to the table. Moving on to show you the number plate readability during night time, because since this camera has a StarVis 2 sensor combined with a 4K resolution, this is supposed to provide you some magnificent number plate readability during night time under the glare of your headlights. So in this particular instance, the car in front is about a distance of 30 to 35 feet under the glare of my headlights, and specifically my headlights are currently in high beam, so they are pretty much hitting the number plate of the car in front. And if we zoom in to take a look, a very decent and a good read of the number plate. Again, each letter and number clearly readable, no mistake in that. Some level of graininess can be seen due to the HDR footage trying to compensate for the low light, but nevertheless the overall number plate read at a distance of close to 35 feet during night time under the glare of headlights. It cannot get any better than this. No other camera can probably come close to the performance of what the VIOFO A329 is providing. Moving on to the number plate readability from the rear camera during daytime. So in this specific image, I have three different cars at three different distances. The Maruti Swift at the highest distance of about 45 feet away, the Grand i10 at a distance of about 25 feet away, and a i20 at a distance of about 10 feet away. So three different distances, single snapshot, you'll get to see the capability of the StarVis 2 IMX675 powered Quad HD rear camera. Let's first zoom in on the farthest car, the Maruti Swift Desire. So when you zoom in at a distance of close to 45 feet, as you can see right now, very mild blurriness due to magnification, but still more or less each letter and number is pretty much visible and readable. I think it says K01MD4447 or 4442. So I've never seen any rear camera to be able to read number plates at such high distance of 40 to 45 feet away with such clarity and with such legibility, and you can more or less make out the entire plate pretty much easily. Moving on to the second car, which was about a distance of 25 feet away from mine, and if we zoom in to take a look, I don't have anything to say about this. No rear camera specifically at a distance of 25 feet away can do what the VIOFO A329's rear camera is doing for you. each letter and number, and the entire number plate is quite good readable, and there's no mismatch and there's no kind of blurriness in this. Moving on to the nearest car, the i20 at a distance of 10 feet or 15 feet maximum, a flawless read, no noise, absolutely clear and still number plate. I mean, this is what I expected from a close range, and the rear camera is performing right up to the point of expectation. But that was during daytime, so how's the performance of the StarVis 2 IMX675 sensor during nighttime, and does the Quad HD resolution of the rear camera has what it takes to read number plates at a distance of close to 30 feet away from moving cars and from glare of the cars that are moving towards the direction of the camera. So as you can see right now, this car is about a distance of 30 feet away, and if I zoom in to take a look, in spite of such high glare from the headlights, in spite of the car being so far away, the rear camera is quite capable of reading the entire number plate. This is truly impressive and this is truly magnificent. The rear camera is performing to levels of what many other front cameras even cannot probably do. This is a sign of an extremely good rear camera and a very powerful processor with a good image processing capabilities. Moving on to the next sample of the same car at a very close range. Now I've shown this sample not to specifically talk about the number plate readability. It's quite obvious that when a camera can read number plates at more than 30 feet away, it can easily do that under 10 feet range. But why I have taken this snapshot is to show you that the glare of the headlights from the vehicle, which is very nearest to me, is absolute minimal. The StarVis 2 sensor is doing its magic and completely removing out any sort of a high brightness or high glare from the vehicles which are closest to my car, giving you a spotless, giving you a flawless number plate read in spite of such high glare. Now this is the kind of performance I expect from a rear camera, and this is really standing up to that level, and this is what even you guys should be expecting from a dash camera which you want for your car. So moving on to show you some of the important features of the VIOFO A329's front camera, specifically talking about the HDR capabilities. On top you can see an image which was shot with HDR, and at the bottom you can see an image which was shot with HDR turned off. So clearly you can make out that the image with HDR on looks much better. I mean, it has got those punchy colors, those darker blacks, and even the exposure and the overall highlights of the video look much more natural and balanced compared to wherein the footage in the HDR is turned off, looks more kind of overexposed, looks a bit more whitewashed. But of course you wouldn't be able to make out this difference if you directly didn't compare it with an image or a video wherein the HDR was turned on. Here's another sample, but this time from the rear camera. So since even the rear camera supports HDR, on the left you can see an image with the HDR turned on, and on the right you can see the image with the HDR turned off. Now just look at the sky, the left border and the tree and compare the two images. The image wherein the HDR is on looks, I think, much better when compared to the HDR off, because the HDR off image quality looks a bit more brighter and a bit more whitewashed compared to wherein the HDR was turned on. So definitely HDR bringing on some real performance improvements in terms of the video quality, and will definitely provide a top-notch performance when you turn on the HDR. Moving on to show you a direct video comparison of what 60 FPS and 30 FPS looks like. Now it's quite difficult to show you the actual difference because YouTube will only make this video in one frame rate, but if you have a very keen eye you can make out that a 60 FPS video looks much more smoother and less stuttery when you compare it with a 30 FPS video. But the 30 FPS video has an advantage of having the HDR turned on, wherein in 60 FPS mode the VIOFO A329 cannot shoot in HDR. So you'll have to choose one of these, either 60 or 30 FPS, and based on that the HDR setting will also get altered. My personal preference would be having a 30 FPS with HDR on for the best kind of video quality. So moving on to show you another special feature of this camera, the ability to shoot ultra wide cinematic video. So this is shot in 21:9 aspect ratio with HDR turned on at 30 FPS, and the video resolution is about 3840 into 1600p with close to 42,000 kbps of bitrate and 300 MB per minute of file size. This looks amazingly good. It looks so cinematic. I mean, this is a kind of footage where you would want to shoot when you're near a beach or a mountain, or you're like shooting it for your social media content or Instagram. Basically this camera can do the job for you, and you wouldn't have to buy any other camera to get this kind of a cinematic traveling footage. I haven't seen any other camera giving you an option of shooting a 21:9 ultra wide video with HDR turned on, and in that particular sense the VIOFO A329 is setting new benchmarks and trailing the way for other dash cams to follow suit in the future. So moving on to show you a sample, a front camera only sample of a 60 fps video. Buttery smooth, super smooth, no stuttering, no lag, a very crystal clear video with absolutely no issues with it. Of course, since it is a 60 fps video, the HDR cannot be enabled, so you do see some mild extra brightness, some extra exposure here and there, but nothing to be worried about. It's not a deal breaker. The overall video quality is pretty much flawless and you really cannot find any complaint or any issues with this kind of a video quality. I mean, it was always a dream to get a 4K, native 4K resolution combined with a true 60 frames per second video, and this camera is just about providing you that. So this is a sample of a 30 fps video with HDR turned on. Looks too good. The colors are so punchy, it's bringing out all the details in all those colors. The 30 fps video, when you actually compare it with a 60 fps, looks like it stutters a bit, but when you only look at the 30 fps video, you won't find that to be a bit stuttering. Of course, during fast movement, 60 fps video will be much more helpful to catch number plates, but 30 fps video is kind of more or less enough, I think. And with the HDR turned on, with the video quality looking the way it is, I mean, you would just feel like sitting and looking at this video because this looks breathtakingly good. The HDR really outdoing itself and bringing out one of the most finest video qualities I've ever seen from any front camera, from any dashcam till date. Not only the front camera, even the rear camera has some pretty good tricks up its sleeve. So this is a quad HD camera shooting at currently 30 fps with the HDR turned off. And even with the HDR turned off, you can see those punchy colors in the sky. Although this too has a similar effect of the front camera, wherein the exposure looks slightly higher than normal. But as said, with the front camera, that is not an issue at all. But there is something which I need to show you, a small trick which even the rear camera can do. You can enable HDR in the rear camera as well. And as soon as you do, the video looks like this. So at the click of a button, the image quality, the video quality gets so much more improved. I mean, as you just saw right now, the difference just popped up right in your eye. The colors look so much more better. The darks look much better. The highlights are more balanced. I mean, the entire video quality just bumped up a huge notch when you turned on the HDR for the rear camera. And what you're seeing right now actually doesn't look like a rear camera footage. It probably looks like a front camera footage, wherein the front camera was probably mounted at the rear. I mean, it is that good. I mean, you simply cannot say no to this kind of a video quality once you've seen this, and you wouldn't be able to go back to any other regular rear camera once you've seen the performance of the VIOFO A329's front and the rear cameras. So here's showing you a regular video recording from the dash camera, but in time-lapse mode. So this means even normal videos wherein you're driving in the car and you're going out somewhere, you can record not just the regular part of the video, you can even record it in a time-lapse mode, and I think you get options of recording it from a minimum of 1 fps to even 10 fps. So currently this video has been recorded in 1 frame per second, and this creates a kind of a journey video if you're someone who is interested in making such videos for either for your reels or social media content. You can put up all the entire journey in a time-lapse mode, and you can make the camera itself do the work for you, and you don't have to like later copy the video and manually convert it into a time-lapse mode. So this too is one of the versatile options that's present in this dash camera. So moving on to show you the parking monitoring mode. So this is a time-lapse mode in parking monitoring, and currently this is set at 1 fps. You can of course make it to go up to 10 fps for a more smoother and a more slower video. So basically the video quality in this is similar to what a regular recording is. The resolution is the same, the frame rate, the bitrate is kind of the same, and you get the overview of all the activities that have happened around the car for the longest duration of time being compressed into a small duration. So this is the time-lapse parking mode, and this is what you get once you install the hardware kit. Moving on to show you the time-lapse mode in ultra-wide cinematic view as well. So if you parked your car at some very scenic place like a beach or a mountain or a very cool looking resort, you can try this time-lapse mode in the ultra-wide. So moving on, this is to show you the low bitrate recording again, which comes under the parking mode. So within this low bitrate, as you can see right now, the front camera has a bitrate of about only 4000 kbps, and the rear camera also has a similar 4000 kbps bitrate.
The resolution, the frame rate kind of remains the same, so you get basically a very low data filled video but at a normal speed. So the complete activity is happening around the car, not in a super fast mode just like what we saw in the time-lapse monitoring, but a regular speed video, a regular proper video with very low power consumption, with very low storage consumption in your either memory card or the SSD. You get a decent low bitrate parking mode video. So you can try this whenever you parked your car at some strange place, and you will get a complete overview of all the activities surrounding the car in this particular parking mode.
Whew. So just can you give me a minute? I'll just be back. I just gotta drink some water. Seriously, I'm pretty tired after this. So my throat is hurting right now, and if you kind of understood the effort and all the work which has gone into making this video, go ahead, don't go away without hitting that subscribe button of my channel. Don't forget to like this video, and if you do appreciate my work, you can also write down in the comment so that the others who are going to watch this video in the future have some reference the kind of video they're going to get to watch. And in case if you have any queries or doubts regarding the VIOFO A329, you can always DM me on my Facebook or the Instagram page. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And if you're interested in purchasing this dashcam, which you should be, I kind of recommend this straight away. This is probably the only and the best dash camera in the world right now. So if you do want to purchase it, click on the description. There are links for both front and the dual channel variants. Take a look at those if you are interested, and go ahead and buy it as well. So I'm gonna go and take some rest now. You guys can go ahead and watch some of my other videos. The links are coming up right now. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.